fins modified to support his body weight. And when they can do that, he can move them backwards. And this supporting of his body weight there, it can propel him forward to get insects, which are his chief means of food. And he comes out and goes on the bank there and on the mud banks. And that makes it possible for him to go out. But he must always return to the water because he has gills and he has to moisten his gills. But there's another very primitive type animal, Jim, that I'd like to demonstrate a movement with here. And that's a tiger salamander. Let me put him on this tabletop here. And I must put some moisture down here because this is another animal that needs moisture. And without moisture, he can't live long. But look at that action there, Jim.
Well, he just wiggles all over, doesn't he?
He sure does. You see, his legs aren't strong enough to lift his whole body up off the ground. But they can move the body forward by just sort of sliding it forward. You can see that undulatory action. It's almost the same action that we got from the eel, you see, when the eel was giving this type of undulation. So you get this very primitive type of movement from such creatures as this tiger salamander, which is related to frogs and toads. Well, you know, it's only a short step from crawling to walking, and that's the next part of our story of animal locomotion. We're going to find out just how animals walk, as well as see just how a walking animal is something like a wheel, right after this important message.
Marlon, last week you asked me if I knew any animals that had wheels. I've been all week, I can't think of a single one.
Well, Jim, that was a kind of a trick question, I must admit. But there is an analogy between the way an animal like this agouti walks, here, look over here, and the rotation of a wheel. And this analogy has to do with the force that's applied by the feet against the surface of the ground or against the table. It's right over here. When they walk, they couldn't walk unless there was force applied by those feet.
Backward thrust.
Backward thrust. And I think I can demonstrate that. Don't you jump off of it now. You hold him just a minute, Jim.
Sure.
And I think I can demonstrate that with a model. Here is a partial wheel with a leg attached to it. When that wheel, that leg, is placed on the ground, there's a partial rotation, a part of a circle. Then it's picked up and placed down again, and so on as the animal walks. Here is a whole wheel, and the spokes have feet or shoes attached to them to represent the legs of the animal. Now, the backward thrust gets started here on this, and they make the wheel go forward. It's the same thing as when an animal walks. He must get backward thrust on the surface here, and the analogy is between the thrust of the rim of the wheel and the partial rotation of the leg of the animal to a wheel. But that's only one principle of the way animals move. And there's still another principle, Jim, that has to do with balance.
In walking.
In walking, yes, sir. Now, here is a model that represents a four-legged animal, and we have a plumb bob here, which is at the point of balance. And I can lift this out from the tabletop here and balance this table from this one point. But if this represents an animal, then the point of balance of this animal is in the center, between these four legs. If I raise one leg like this, then, and let go of it up here, you see what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, I see
it's
that.
going to fall over. If the animal didn't compensate in some way for this business of, by changing his weight, shifting his balance over to another area. Now let's shift the balance of this table back here, so that the point of balance now falls between the three legs here that are going to remain on the ground. Then we raise this thing up, and you see it stays there.
Stays up. Well, she shifted its weight to move the center of balance forward.
So you got a constant shifting of balance here in an animal that walks. This is just a normal walking thing. But I think I could show that better with an animal that's going to walk. So if you'll give the agouti to Harry there.
Sorry, I hate to give him up, but here.
And boys, we're all set now. Do you want to put Ferlin up, or no, this is Margot, isn't it? Put Margot up on the tabletop there, on the platform. The platform's all nice. There you are. Okay. Steady, girl.
Boy.
Steady, girl. That's it. Hold her now. Now, let me see. I need a plumb bob. Where do I get that from? Right down here? Okay. I think this string has gotten moved too far forward, but I would like to attach to this string around her body here a plumb bob. Okay. Then I would like to mark the location of this plumb bob. Let's see, can we back her up just a little bit? There. No, she can't back far, because we have these cleats here. This cleat is right there. Now let's do it this way. I can move this slightly forward. Here, like this. And that will mark the point of where this plumb bob goes. All right, now, in order to move, this animal must shift its weight. It must lift a leg. So what I'm going to do here is to ask Margot to raise a leg. Okay, Margot, this one right here. Now watch what happens to the plumb bob. Take your leg. That's it. You see where the plumb bob goes, Jim?
Way over to the right and the rear.
Uh-huh.
Just like you did on the model.
That's right. And then when she settles back down, then
Must the weight go back?
it goes. There's another thing that happens too, Jim, with animals that have to walk up and down hills. There must be a shifting again of the weight. Fellas, pull up the legs of the hind part of this platform here, and now let's just tilt her slightly so that she's walking uphill. Just a little bit now, not too much. Now see what happens to that plumb bob?
Oh, yeah.
See, it goes way back behind here.
That's right, but she shifts and...
She shifts her weight now. You see, she's getting ready to walk. And she shifted her weight way forward and brought that plumb bob back pretty nearly over the point that we started from here. But there is a constant shifting of weight in an animal that's walking back and forth from side to side, forward and backwards. Otherwise, the animal would never be able to walk.
Oh, could Margot show that to us, Mom?
Well, Jim, there isn't very much room in here for an animal trotting. Besides, she's not very well trained.
That's true.
I think I could show you better myself.
Are you well trained?
Well, I don't know about the training. But I'll just get down into the same position that she's in. Now, if I'm going to raise my right front leg, Jim, you describe what happens.
Oh, just as she did. You move your weight back and to the left and support it on the other three legs.
All right, now I'm going to put that down and raise my left hind leg.
Move it forward and to the right.
That's exactly the way animals walk, you see, by constantly shifting and rotating. They're moving their body back and forth.
You're going to be in the Kentucky Derby if you keep that up.
Well, it wasn't very graceful, Jim, but it represents the basic walking movement for all four-footed animals. And in doing that, they shift their weight diagonally back and forth. You can see this much better if you watch a horse walking in slow motion. Now, when a horse is walking in slow motion, there is the right hind foot and the left front, and the left hind and the right front, and the right hind and the left front. You see how the point of, watch the man though. You see, he doesn't sway at all. And he's sort of like the point of balance in the horse here.
Well, other gaits, though, aren't there, that horses use? A lot of them, actually.
Well, yeah, this is the walking gait. And then there's the pacing gait, where they raise the legs on one side of their body together, the front and hind leg, and then the opposite legs, the ones on the left side of the body, are raised. You see here, there's a point where the horse is clear off the ground. There's a constant rack and roll to this type of movement that is changing the center of balance constantly of the horse.
Well, that's right, Marlon. You've showed us very well, I think, various means of locomotion on land, but there's one I haven't seen yet.
What's that?
This one.
Oh, aha!